We
But it just
effectively
depends on
now
what
know that we don't have souls.
but it depends on what evidence you're looking at. For example, if you
Okay, give me
interview people, well, okay, that's what I'm trying to do. If you interview people who've had these NDE experiences, I mean, they would recall experiences of, getting out of their body. They would recall experiences of seeing other people in a different room. For example, if it was a hospital, they would see maybe their family members conversing or talking about them or worrying about them. They would hear.
Well, that only happens in a
doctors.
certain place. Yeah. So when you do the exact thing that you're talking about, but you do that in India, then what ends up happening is you end up with people coming back having met their gods and having proof of reincarnation, which would be disproof of Christianity.
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to argue Christianity. I'm just trying to argue that
The point is,
there is
when you have
for
right. So the
go
point is that when atheists go through this, if they're long-term atheists, if they were lifelong atheists, or if they are secure atheists, they didn't have the formal indoctrination, they're not recently deconverted, they're not going to have any experience at all. But if they grew up in India in a non-Christian environment,
a less than 5-minute Google search, and I debunked Aron Ra's crap. The atheists never have near-death experiences. Secure atheists who do not believe. And I'm about to introduce you to a man who was a dyed-in-the-wool atheist. He knew there was no life after death. He knew there was no God, no Jesus. And this guy, his name is Howard Storm. He had a near-death experience where he went to hell. Religious, non-atheist. No. Wait a minute. That's it, okay. Dude, unreligious. Atheist. Yep, you see that, Aron Ra? You see that? You see that? Well, you're going to see it in a minute when I introduce you to Howard Storm. He was a dyed-in-the-wool atheist. So, Aron Ra makes a blanket statement. You really ought to stay away from those blanket statements. People are not either this or that. People are different. But I digress. Here's some atheists who had near-death experiences. Atheist was angry she ended up in heaven during NDE. Do atheists have near-death experiences? Now, these YouTube videos, they could be fake. People could always claim, in other words, get famous on YouTube. People will fake claim experiences that they never had. But I'll give you two experiences that prove. I'll give you an experience that proves that atheists can have.
I want to come back to this question of how much our prior beliefs shape the experience. Now,
wow, she looks good the way she did that with her.
I want to come back to this question of how much our
spit. She looks right. That pose, I love that pose. She looks good there. With spit.
Prior beliefs shape the experience. Now, you said that atheists have these experiences.
Indeed, they do.
Why? I mean, presumably they don't believe in angelic beings.
No, they don't believe in angelic beings. We have two atheists in our series. The first one, and this, if you were listening to Mary, she was very careful about what she was saying. She was talking about the interpretation of the experience as she saw it. Well, if you were an atheist, you would interpret the experience as you see it. And our first atheist refused any sort of being in the experience. What they did was they dissolved into pure energy, and they floated through a blue environment with pure energy. they came to the light and they had the same experience of the overwhelming feelings of love, and then the experience ended. So it was not populated in quite the same way as Mary's experience was. The other one was very similar, but this time there were more people who they met, and they met dead relatives, which is very common in their death experiences. So the fact that you don't believe anything is going to happen doesn't stop it happening.
Okay. Here's an atheist who had a near-death experience.
Sure, this was June 1st, 1985. I was in Paris, France. I had a perforation of the duodenum, which was left untreated for 10 hours, and I died. I was taken on a journey by a group of what I thought were people taking me to surgery, but instead they took me into a hellish environment, and they attacked me and tore me apart. And I was an atheist at the time, but due to my desperation, I prayed and I called out to Jesus, going back to the faith that I'd had as a child, and he came and took me out of there. I had a life review, and then he invited me to ask my questions, so I asked him everything I could think of, and then he told me I had to come back here and try and live in a better way than I had before.
So you basically died, met some beings which took you to a dark place, and from there Jesus rescued you, you went to heaven, and then you came back, and you said you didn't want to come back, but you came back. So how long did that whole experience take in a matter of Earth time?
It's actually impossible to make the comparison, but I know that it took me 3.5 years to go to graduate school, and this took longer.
Okay. And so you were an atheist when this happened?
Yes.
And now you're a pastor?
Yes.
Okay, so obviously this had a huge impact on your entire thought process in your life.
I'd say it was a 180-degree course change.
Okay. So the first part, you said you went to the cesspool where there were negative beings who took you from your bed in the hospital. Can you speak more to that part before we talk about how you actually went to heaven?
Yeah, it's interesting because I know that they were people that had lived in this world, and because of their indifference or hatred to God and to what God stands for, they didn't want to go to heaven, they didn't want to be with God, so God gave them exactly what they wanted, which was separation from God. The thing that's sad is, in that place, what makes it hellish is them. It wouldn't have to be that bad, but their behavior goes unrestrained, and they just act out all their worst instincts.
So before this experience, did you think any of this stuff was real? That there was a place that existed where there almost like a purgatory, like you said, and then a heaven, or heaven and a hell? Did you ever give much thought to that?
I had, by the time I was a teenager, I'd come to believe that the whole religious thing was a fantasy for people that were basically delusional, weak-minded, and that intelligent people, like what I thought I was and what all my friends at the university thought they were it was just for children and for addle-brained people, and that we knew way better than that.
Wow, okay. So when you first came back to life in the hospital, were you said you were blind and deaf? Did I read that correctly?
I became blind and deaf, not, yeah.
And then, but now obviously you're not, so you got healed.
Yeah, but I was in the hospital for months, and the doctors all agreed that it was a miracle that, first of all, I survived the 10 hours without being treated for the perforated duodenum, and then I was very ill for a very long time.
Were there words being communicated? What was heaven like?
Well, Jesus is a great teacher, and he
all night. This is Heaven and Hell, representing heaven, Don Piper, representing hell, Reverend Howard Storm, and it's just fun to say Reverend Storm is representing hell. That's just kind of interesting. And if you just tuned in, pay attention. Reverend Howard Storm, you're right. You were an agnostic. You were an atheist.
Yeah.
What's the difference again?
I didn't believe in God. I thought anybody that believed in God was an idiot.
Okay. Look into the camera and talk to the people that are watching right now that think we're all idiots. Talk to them. How did you used to think? Talk to them.
Any of you that don't believe in God, I just want you to know that I love you. A lot of people.
I tried to reach out to this motherfucker, and he was cold as a morgue slab to me. He didn't show me any fucking love. So I don't believe these near-death experiences are real. They're shit. They're just a little bonus you get when you're dying to ease off your mind of the death anxiety of knowing that your brain is fixing to go out of this world forever and ever.
People here tonight love you. God loves you. And we're not going to hold it against you that you're ignorant. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And I was a college professor. I was an arrogant son of a gun.
Yeah.
And I was a college professor. I was an arrogant son of a gun, to put it mildly.
Yeah.
If you want a tough crowd to evangelize, go try and evangelize on the college campus. But I had believed that man was the measure of all things. And brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you that if you don't believe in God, that doesn't mean you don't have a God. You've got a God. Your God is you. You think you're God. And you got the puniest, most worthless God there is.
Wow.
Yourself, brother. And it's about time you got straightened out. There is a higher power.
Go ahead.
There's a higher power.
Good.
And that's what we're here to talk about tonight.
Okay, let me clarify one thing. You're not mad at me, right? No? I'm one of the good guys.
I'm saying that out of love. I am.
Okay.
I would go out and I'd give my life for my brothers and sisters if they could come to know how good God is.
Okay.
Put your money where your mouth is, bitch.
But you were just like him. The skeptic that is out there viewing. They've lost their mind completely. There is no afterlife. There is no out-of-body experiences. You were an educated college professor, and then what happened to you?
University of California, Berkeley, my alma mater.
Come on now. What happened to you? All of a sudden you saw
what? At the age of 38 years old, I knew everything. I knew what was right. I knew what was true, and I had a medical emergency. I had perforation of the duodenum. I had a hole in my stomach.
Yeah.
And
I was wondering what a duodenum was.
yeah,
I thought you said do bottom.
anyways,
Shit.
and so to cut to the chase, I was looking at my body. People were calling me outside the room, and I went to them, and they said that I had to go with them, and the room was security because my wife was there and my body was there and my roommate was there.
Okay, wait. Somebody said to you, like an angel, said you got to go with us?
They weren't no angels.
Okay, so I got you. Go ahead. I'm tracking.
But I was thinking, I kept saying to myself, this is crazy. I don't believe in this. It can't be happening. This doesn't happen. This can't be real. Except that I knew that it was the realest thing I was experiencing. It's hyper reality. I know it's hard to explain, but it was more real than this is real. And they were saying, come with us, hurry up, we know you. And they took me on a very long journey into an ever-increasing closeness and darkness.
Wow.
And then I'm getting really scared. And finally I said, I'm not going with you any further. And with that, they turned on me and we began to fight. Now, there were a lot of them.
God, you know what? God damn it. I curse you, my arms are so goddamn short. I curse you, God, my arms are short for these girls. God, I curse you for this. God, I curse you, my arms are so short. God, I curse you, God. I sell my soul to the devil for my arms to be longer. God, I fucking crush you. God damn! God! Fucking piece of shit car. Goddamn car. But mostly it's like this. God, I fucking curse you, them arms are so short. God, fuck it. I curse you! God, I curse you. I saw myself like devil for longer arms. God! God, I curse you! For this girl having longer arms than me. I curse you to hell! Look how long the spit smells arm is. Girl's got some long ass arm. God, that's good.
Don't bend your arms back. Don't bend your arms back. Bend your arms back.
Cry me a river. Who the fuck does that shit?
God, you know what? God damn it. I curse you, my arms are so goddamn short. I curse you, God, my arms are short for these girls. God, I curse you for this. God, I curse you, my arms are so short. God, I curse you, God. I sell my soul to the devil for my arms to be longer. God, I fucking crush you! God damn! God! Fucking piece of shit car. Goddamn car. But mostly it's like this. God, I fucking curse you, them arms are so short. God, fuck it. I curse you! God, I curse you. I saw myself like devil for longer arms.
me, but instead you stood above, you spit me out, you kicked me down. I hate your